which, there we go, that's better. Okay, we currently have 0 people viewing, so that's okay.
Fantastic. Let's go. Let's get on done real quick. Come on.
Alrighty, guys. So, who would like to begin this evening?
I started last time, so it's up to one of you guys.
Mike, you want to draw straws?
It doesn't matter, buddy. I can do it.
Go
Welcome to episode 9 of the Flight Test Community Cast podcast. We've got some really good guys on tonight. We've got Dan and Keegan, the Sponholzes.
Close enough.
Welcome, guys.
Yeah, really, welcome.
Thanks.
Thank you, guys.
Happy to be here.
Who has more
Thanks for
hair?
having us.
Me, by a lot. So,
Way to go, Pat. You're gonna take it there right away.
Right away.
Yeah.
No delay.
Yeah.
Excellent.
First day. Well, I assume that that's because a lot of people for the very first time are seeing you because you've been hiding behind the camera for so long. So this is our first opportunity to say, hey, welcome to the shenanigans and so forth of the community. So hey, how you doing?
Good times. Good times.
Really. So how's everybody doing?
pretty good.
Fantastic.
Excellent. Well, I think it's only fitting, since it has been a little while, that we catch up with everybody and see what everyone's been doing, and also make some announcements, because Pat and Mike and I have some really cool things to share about where we've come in the last, 3 weeks? Right?
Okay. Sounds good.
So, first things first order of business is, hey, Facebook listeners and followers. We're up to 200! Woo!
Party.
Yeah, buddy! So as of this week, we have 217 people following us on Facebook. But that means...
Is
because,
that good? Should we monetize it now?
Okay, well, here's the thing, okay? Because... wait a second, because this is where it gets really entertaining. I have looked at the statistics because, of course, as most of you who follow our Facebook page would know, we are changing the hosting site for the podcast feed. So no longer are we going to be hosting the show through SoundCloud, which is what we've been doing before. So the show now is actually going to be hosted through what the Freefall RC guys are hosting through, and that is a podcast hosting site called Podbean. And Podbean is a little bit more powerful in its statistical analysis, and it tells me where people are from, and I can see it gives me more data, and I like data. I put Patrick to sleep already. We have officially broken 12,000 people listening to the individual shows. So that's 12,000 times you guys have clicked on our links and listened all the way through. So thank you very, very, very much for all of the support.
That's
we really wouldn't be here without you guys. So what that means is we've had 12,000 people listen, or 12,000 individual clicks on those links, but only 200 of you are on our Facebook feed. So that's what needs to change. So please follow us on Facebook.
Exactly.
Make us feel like people like us.
Yeah,
Even if you don't.
There's got to be something there, because they like us enough to follow us. To listen to us, but they don't like us enough to like us on Facebook. So
Well, you know, there's so much social media out there these days, as we were discussing earlier, kind of going through the list of how can we do this, blah, blah, blah. And as soon as we started listing, I got a headache, and I just wanted to turn off my computer because there's too many.
Well, I think for you, Patrick, especially, who's been going through some computer challenges the last, week, I can empathize immensely with that. But we just wanted to update you guys on where we're at social media-wise. We are doing some really, really great stuff with our feeds, and we're getting some really popular stuff. Now, with that being said, everyone who is currently subscribed in iTunes, Android, any of those platforms, you guys are going to have to resubscribe now, because I have changed the feed. I'm sorry, that's happened. So
We're going to lose everybody.
we're not going to lose everybody because, of course, we have the whole flight test community behind us, and we have everyone who is already subscribed listening on this episode. So we're okay. So everyone who is currently subscribed to our existing feed, please transition to the new one. If you're listening in like 6 months to a year from now, don't worry about it because it's already happened, and you don't have to worry about switching feeds.
How do they do that?
That was like time travel right there.
We are time travelers. That's the beautiful thing.
That's Inception.
We've hit 88 miles an hour sitting in upstairs.
Yeah, it's true. We are. It's crazy. But yeah, so I wanted to get that piece of business out the way before we continue with some RC updates and get to the most important two individuals in the room this evening.
Oh, you ready for me now?
Yeah, Pat and my.
No, that's not true.
Mikey, what do you reckon? I think that's basically Pat's cue to start off with the updates.
Updates?
Yeah, I think so. Absolutely.
I think so too. Pat, go ahead, buddy. What have you been up to?
In RC, pretty much nothing for the last 3 weeks or so. Although I did discover that our new dog Sam loves the ominous quadcopter today because a guy at work he was having issues with his that he got his kids for Christmas, so he discovered that I was into flying things and he gave it to me to take a look at. So I've been kind of troubleshooting that, and in the meantime got my ominous out today and was flying it, and my dog he really enjoys it. He gets all excited. I got to video this because it really is funny. So I took it outside several times and flew it around for him, and he chased it, and he barked, and I really special both of us. Yeah. Yeah.
That's go for it, Pat. Sorry.
I don't know. Yeah. See, you don't even know what to say to that. I'm pouring out this emotional moment between my dog and I over a quadcopter, and you have no words because
I think it's fantastic.
Well, thank you.
I really do. I have to agree. My question, though, I do have a question for you.
Yes.
What exactly is the issue with the ominous?
None with mine. The guy who gave me his to troubleshoot said he gave it to his son on Christmas Day. They took it outside, and it instantly went up like several feet, maybe 100 or so, went down the street, dropped, and crashed. Well, from what I found so far, there's something about the calibration of the gyros and maybe the accelerometers, if they're even in there. Something is off with this quadcopter. It's either in the transmitter or the quad or both, because I've bound it to my quad and I can fly it, or not my quad, my transmitter, and I can fly it, but it's squirrely as all get out on my transmitter. Mine is rock solid, so something's wrong. Probably need to replace the board, and maybe even it could have been a bad one. I don't know, but it just doesn't behave like mine does. So
Interesting.
yeah. And then, so this last week I've basically not slept much at all because I've been at school late every night because we had our Science Olympiad regional competition yesterday, which, by the way, our team finished 3rd overall, which was awesome. It was we were hoping for first place. We finished 2nd place last year overall in our region, but if you look at our performance across the board in all the categories, we've actually improved this year, which means the competition has elevated itself. So we are going to the state competition, and I am resolved to bringing home gold medals in several events for us because we're going to kick some butt in some of these events.
Congratulations.
Yes.
Thank you. It's the kids. They are phenomenal, and they're very special to me, and we've had a great run.
Congratulations. That really is.
Thank you.
I have a Q&A question here from Blake Ziegler. Blake asks Pat.
Who's that guy?
been cleaning his basement for this episode. So I think what he's basically asking is, have you done any cleaning prior to us recording this evening?
Blake, no. My camera is strategically placed. You have been in my basement, so you understand. But the camera, it has a very special placement such that you cannot see the horrid wreck that is my basement.
Or that Pat's not wearing pants.
Now that was a photo that we did not need to see in any way, shape, or form.
Don't make me stand up.
Yeah, please don't make him stand up.
No! No!
Wait,
no.
13. You can edit that out, right, Joel?
Luckily for audio listeners, yes. But for our listeners who are currently live,
Hey,
no.
we're live.
I'm sorry. That won't happen again.
I think we may have a show name, guys.
That's not wearing pants. I like it.
That's great. So, moving very swiftly on from that subject, Mikey.
Well, before I say anything, I believe Ryan Papp had a question too. And he wants to know, Dan, what is your favorite color?
Blue. No, yellow. Oh, no, it's blue.
You're over the cliff, mate. Sorry. And if anyone didn't get that reference, you're doing it wrong.
Right. You're not geeky enough.
That's
Not
right.
really.
So there you go. So for me, I haven't been doing a whole lot, at least in RC directly. Indirectly, I've been trying to organize for the flying season coming up. Just trying to, get my stuff together, and me and the wife are out actually looking for a new vehicle because my poor van has got over 200,000 miles on it, and I know that it will not make it to Ohio this year. So we've been out looking, and I think we've come across two vehicles that we are pretty happy with. One of them is a Toyota RAV4. The other one is the Ford Escape, and we're kind of leaning towards the Escape.
Honda Odyssey.
Well, I know, Pat, you said CRV earlier, so now which one is it?
Well, since you said Ohio, you got to have more room, so.
Well, I may end up getting a trailer, who knows?
Anything built by Honda is bulletproof.
Yeah, well.
Well, yeah.
I have to look at cost as well, and what I'm looking at right now, we can probably get for around 23, 24. So that's kind of where excellent. I'm at. So that's what I've been up to.
Yeah.
And Mike also broke a rib.
Oh yes, I did break a rib.
That sounds fun.
It'll be 2 weeks ago Tuesday.
How's that doing, by the way?
It's all right unless you sleep on it. And when you wake up, it's really sore.
So don't sleep.
Don't do that.
Yeah,
don't sleep on it. I'm with Dan on that one.
You turn over, you don't realize you turn over, and then you wake up in pain. So.
Are you taking your old lady vitamins now?
Yes, I am taking my Geritol, my what is it, the Centrium or whatever it is, all that stuff. Trying to get extra iron and
osteoporosis is a bitch.
Yeah, I know, man.
You are all over this today, aren't you, Pat?
Sorry.
Well, that's the first thing all the guys I was working with said when I broke it was like, man, osteoporosis sucks, doesn't it? Thanks, guys. Yeah. Getting old is no fun. Keegan, I don't suggest you do it.
Yeah, just stop it right now.
Being responsible.
I've been telling him that for years.
Yeah, well.
Never.
It's not working either, is it, Dan?
No.
Good times.
What about you, Joel?
That's an excellent question. Well, besides the pile of quad parts that I have sitting next to me to my left, it has been really ridiculously good. I think I mentioned on episode 8 when we were doing the build night intro, I have befriended the RC newbie, And for those of you who don't know who the RC newbie is, his name is Tim. And Tim lives about 25 minutes from me in Claremont, which is coincidentally where Crafty Dan Cruz grew up. And him and I have become very found friends. And the really cool thing is that we've been doing a whole lot of flying together. And I'm sorry, I have to interrupt my story here because the Flying Circus, a.k.a. the Viking, a.k.a. Asbjorn, has said, "You're ugly as ever, all of you, smiley face."
One of the many reasons why we love Asbjorn.
So ban him.
Taking full advantage. See, I can't. Here's the funny thing, okay? I cannot boot Q&As. I can reject them, but I cannot boot them. So, Asbjorn, keep the commentary coming.
Oh my God.
Well, none of us can take him individually, but I think if we all team up at Flight Fest, we can probably get him back for that.
Let's do it.
You know what? I can't argue.
Yeah, I know, me either.
I'm doing a really good job hiding my awful hair right now because it's back here somewhere, and I'm just hiding behind this right now.
Patrick is showing his mess.
Patrick, what are you doing?
He's showing his mess.
Oh, hello, mess. I think his camera's gone. I think his camera fell. I think he was on his way out and he accidentally dropped the camera, but that wouldn't surprise me either. Sorry, continue my distracted story because that was hysterical. The RC newbie and I have been flying together a lot. So he recently put together a nutball, and that was great. And he and I flew. I was flying my DLG as well as another aircraft that is fantastic, and I'd love to talk about it. And then I finally put together my mini Mustang. So that's now put together, so that's ready with the power pod and everything ready to go. And Patrick, I'm going to mute you for a second so you can get yourself together.
So you can put your pants on.
That's hard.
And he's muted. So I'm sorry, I keep getting distracted because this is hilarious. So finally that's together. I do have a power system for it. And he was very kind enough to give me 2 brand new 2204 motors, so I'm probably going to be building a mini FT Cruiser here as my 2-engine plane that I'm going to use for Flight Fest. But I also, when I was in Perry, I acquired a micro Telemaster. Now this is only a 3-channel throttle elevator rudder, but there is a very strong possibility that I will edit the plans and put aileron servos in there as well, because I'd love to have ailerons on that thing. So that is going to be my first balsa project, which I hope to have complete by Flight Fest. So currently, without telling Allison, that puts my current inventory of aircraft from the original 4 to 9. So, there you go, 9. So I currently have nine little planes and a quad.
Where do you hide them?
That makes me in the closet, dude. But it's very easy to hide small aircraft, so that's why I like building the minis.
There you go.
So that's why I've been building those up, which has been great.
I wonder if I can win her over by telling on you.
Good luck.
If she'll actually listen to you, which I doubt that she would ever do such a thing, that she will probably not believe you anyway. Yeah, that's all good. But anyway, moving on from my very interesting / not interesting stuff, because I'd love to talk more about the multi-rotor stuff, but once I actually get it working, then I'll talk about it, because I haven't been able to test what I have on it, which is, by the way, it is beta flight. I have finally flashed beta flight onto this thing. So as soon as I get this stupid ESC reprogrammed back to factory, I will let you guys know how Betaflight is in comparison to Clean Flight. But that's a story for another day. On to the youngest member of our team here, Keegan. Welcome as our youngest host on the show. So how are you, buddy?
Pretty good. I've been doing a bit of building recently. A whole lot because it's still cold. Yeah, front thermometer today was about 33 degrees, I think it peaked out at. So going outside is not all that fun yet.
I won't share.
But I have rasterized his Paul One-Ski going on a Mini Mustang, which is absolutely great. He's done a really, really awesome job with that. All the panel lines, the tangle capsule inscriptions it's detailed out. It's pretty incredible. And another little pet project that I've had since probably a month and a half ago was my plane FT3D, which is basically an FT3D where I shoved the canopy back, cut I think 3 inches off the total wingspan, and glued another wing to the top of it.
Oh, nice.
That's fantastic. So is it like a sport biplane? Is that pretty much what it is?
The goal is to be a 3D capable biplane, which is, I've tried to eliminate some of the problems that I think the normal monoplane FT3D has. The biggest issue that I have with it, do a blender, and it starts to lose a lot of energy when you do rolls with it. And the biggest issue or cause that I think that is the ailerons are just too big, which is great for when you're doing like torque rolls and stuff because it's really easy to control them. But when you try and do high energy maneuvers like blenders, snaps, Lumshabucks, they more like your bricks than anything. So in one, I cut an inch off the total width of the ailerons.
Has that had a dramatic impact on the performance, or?
I will let you know once it gets home.
So, is that a projector hanging from your ceiling there?
Yeah.
Okay, just asking.
Of course, Pat's not asking about the airplanes or the fact that
and who's the drummer?
That would be me. Wannabe drummer.
Okay.
How many years have you been playing?
Off and on for about 4.
Hey, way to make it about yourself and step all over your son there, Dan.
Right? I know. Who's asking these stupid questions?
Actually, we have more questions. We do have more questions coming in. So we'll get to those in just a moment here. But so I still think it's funny that Pat didn't ask questions about the fact that you're 17, Keegan, right?
Okay. Wait. We aren't into that part of the thing yet.
No, we're not quite into that part of the thing, but he's 17 and he's making these incredible modifications to FT design. So basically what I'm trying to say here at this moment...
a 101% cree-cree?
The cray-cree.
4 days, and I'm going to ask him about chopping a 1/4 inch off an aileron?
Don't tell me it's an inch inch.
Yeah, we're talking about different things here, mate. Sorry. But that's excellent, man. I'm really, really impressed by that. And I do, if you have any pictures or anything, I'd love to share the images of the plane, because that really interests me. I'm a sucker for biplanes.
I have it right over here. Let me grab it.
Yeah, and we can take some still shots and throw those up.
Yeah, that'd be great. And while we're waiting for Keegan to hop back here, Dan,
yes.
What have you been up to?
Not much flying, unfortunately, because like Keegan said, it's really cold and sucky up here, so we don't really get out to fly much. But I think most of you guys out there in internet land and flight test fans out there know that I spend a lot of my free time working on the free plans for flight test, and I've been actually pretty busy. They've been keeping me hopping for the last couple of months, so a lot of my free time that I normally spend in the hobby, I've been drawing up plans. So there's a couple of new ones coming out next week, so that's been keeping me busy for the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, and we'll get into more details about your design process and that, because I know Patrick is ready to go with those. So what do y'all tend to do when it gets cold? Do you guys have like an indoor place that you usually fly at, or is there
We
something
do
that you
actually,
can do?
and there's a place up in Oshkosh that I think last year we probably got up there 4 or 5 times. And this year we've actually, unfortunately, only have been up there once. So Keegan and I both picked up some indoor ultra micros to fly indoor this year, and we really only got to get up there and go and do that one time. But it was great. It was fun to actually get some stick time back in again, but it happened a lot less frequently than I was expecting it to.
That's sad.
I know.
So, what is this place that you guys fly in?
It's a gym. It's a Traeger Middle School in Oshkosh.
Oh, okay.
So there's the group of, I think it's the Winnebago AMA club.
Winnebago RC Club. Yep.
Okay, cool.
Their AMA club reserves the gym like just about every Sunday in the winter months. So we go up there and hang out with those guys for a while.
Oh, that's really cool. Because my gym at my school is always being used for something, and when we want to use it for like one of our Science Olympiad or TSA projects, it's so hard to get into. So that's cool that they do that for you guys.
Yep.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Anything from you, Mikey? Mikey, you coming
What's
through
that?
okay?
Yeah, there's a little delay. I don't know what's going on.
That's okay. I think it may be bandwidth. It's actually kind of funny. There is a half second between Dan and Keegan because I'm picking up a little bit of feedback on both of their microphones, which is actually really funny.
Sitting right next to each other.
Yeah, if I turn my screen.
Hello.
There we go. There we go. We've got double vision.
So it's as good as we could get for now.
Yeah, no, absolutely. No, this is. I have to admit, your setup right now is ideal. So we really appreciate that you guys both could get on here and join us.
Absolutely.
The fun thing is, and for those of you who don't know, I think if you've listened to episode 8, then you'll know exactly what we're doing. And for the 14 of you who are listening live alongside us,
there's 14.
We are now doing. There are 14 people listening. In fact, we actually have a nice number of Q&A questions for our guest hosts.
Yeah,
so
I
we
see,
can start hammering.
The last one was Julian Waters, the Valkyrie dude.
Yep, exactly.
Okay. Keegan, any big projects planned for Flate Fest?
If you're referring to Big... No, I'll not be doing one of those yet. The plan for this year is to be flying a lot more than I am building. But that being said, we do have a design that should be with us around Flight Fest time that we can use in combat. Also, there will be multiple Valkyries there if Julian is indeed bringing one. Mine will be there.
And that is fantastic news.
You guys notice that Keegan does the bob and weave? Like, he's got the thing going on there?
Yeah, it's nervous energy.
It is, but it's good. Because we like to scare people a little bit while we're on here. But no, for the 50, actually, we went up to 16 half a second ago. So we actually, on average, we're averaging about 20 live listeners. So
did you say
we are now
16 and a half?
Yeah, well, because they keep flip-flopping between 16 and 17, so there's a half person in there somewhere.
Oh, that must be painful.
A little bit. So,
Frightening.
Basically, we are putting our podcasts out on Thursdays as usual, but on Sundays, when we record the show now, we're actually pumping them out through YouTube and Google Hangouts. So very similar in the way that the Build Nights crew, which is Ben Greenwald and Eddie Black, are doing the Build Nights on behalf of the Flight Test Community Podcast. We are also going to be doing live shows from this point forward, which means that all of our fabulous listeners can interact with us live while we're recording, which is how we are able to get some of these Q&A things going right before we start interviewing them for realsies.
And who wouldn't want to interact with us?
Yeah, really.
Really?
Let's face it, everyone's dying to.
So here's what. Okay, let's just jump into this thing here.
Go for it, because I know you have been itching for it.
I'm going to start with Keegan, because I teach kids of about his age, and I have some exceptional kids that I get the privilege of working with, and I think Keegan is a very exceptional young man. Keegan, how did you get into the whole RC thing, and what has it kind of done for you, or what have you done with it?
Well, I actually got into it probably 6 or 7 months after watching the first flight test video I found on YouTube, which was the flying brick episode way back when early days. And I actually showed it to Dad Spons right away, and just kind of snowballed from there. And as far as what it's done for me, I think it's really kind of allowed for a greater understanding of aerodynamics and stuff, just because obviously the planes are so cheap, so you can mod them a lot and just kind of see what the different effects are depending on what you do to them.
Okay. How did you get into building over full size, or you built a plane that was over full scale out of foam board at Flight Fest last year? So how did you get into that?
Well, Crafty Dan had this kind of insane idea to get a bunch of people together for like master builds at Flight Fest 2015, which would be originally plan to have one day builds where it was going to be a community thing. One master builder would get everybody together and they'd complete one big project and fly it that day, disassemble it at night, and then the next group would take it over in the morning and build their big project. So apparently I was the only one that actually followed through with this, and we just kept going back on a huge email thread. It was probably 50 or 60 pages by the end of it. And basically we decided that we were trying to build a Cree, which if you don't know what that is, it's the world's smallest twin-engine aircraft.
Yep.
So I believe the original aircraft has a wingspan of a little bit over 16 feet. Also fully out. And so that was the airplane we decided on because it's fairly boxy for an airplane that small apart from the canopy, which if you watch the Flight 20 videos, time constraints and everything. And so we got to work building it at Flight Fest 2015. I believe it was the night of the first day we were there. And we're a little 3 that I on an 8x11, 11.5 sheet of paper. We ripped measurements from that and started cutting foam.
Okay, cool.
So,
yeah, it came together really nicely, and in the end, you guys flew it, and obviously it wanted to fly. But what do you attribute the short flight to?
Nowhere near enough torque. While we had it on the ground, I did do a control test. I don't know if you could see that in the Flight Fest recap video or not, but I would give it full up elevator, and we had 3 servos on that elevator, and it was struggling to pull it up without any air resistance on it. So, and that was probably because we used the same servos that are used in the Tough Tilt. Which
you guys were using 9-gram servos on that thing.
What?
A 9-gram gear servos.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
I think it would have flown fine were it not for the servos
right.
on the elevators.
So,
yeah. Yeah.
Advice to anyone who wants to do something crazy like that in the future: standard size servos, if not high torque standard size servos, and a lot of them.
Buy the $24 ones. Go crazy. That's pretty cheap for those. I could buy at $24. I could buy 10 9-gram servos, but they are not going to do what a $24 standard size servo will do.
Very, very true. So I actually have a Q&A in here from Chris Roncaglione, who is listening with us live.
Who's that
And
guy?
Chris is saying, "Wow, editing a podcast and listening to a podcast. You guys are true professionals." Thanks, Chris.
Exception right there.
Chris has low standards.
So appreciate the kind words, sir. But professionals is a little bit of an overstatement.
He must have missed a comment
Just
about Pat's
Just
pants.
a little.
I'm a professional idiot.
I think we're all professional amateurs at this point, because being 9 episodes in, we're still finding the kinks in this
It's
method.
very
But
kinky.
I think this is rocking and rolling. I think this is rocking and rolling quite nicely.
Hey, we're having fun
It's
now.
all
But yes. So, Mr. Dan Sponholz,
Yes, sir.
how did you get lumped in with Flight Test to do all of these plans? What was the story there?
It's a pretty crazy story, I guess. Just as far as the plans go, I guess, I had been kind of working on relaying out plans for quite a while before I actually started actually doing the official plans for Flight Test. And there was a thread that our good friend on the FT forums, Baloo, kind of started about kind of coming up with a better standard for one, being able to print off the plans on a black and white printer without having to use color, because as you know, the original Flight Test plans use black and red solid lines, so if you're printing in black and white, it's kind of hard to differentiate a cut line from a score line. So there's a whole slew of conversation that started in that thread, and that's kind of where I started tweaking my designs. And I was actually working on like the Ugly Wonder, the Bloody Wonder Mark III, and the Bloody Baron plans kind of while I was kind of coming up with this standard and kind of following that thread and providing some input on Baloo's thread there. So we kind of, as a community, really came up with kind of the spec for what the plans should look like, and have just been kind of tweaking it from there. And I guess where it really started with, came to a head with the Flight Test stuff was with the Bushwhacker. So the Bushwhacker design came out, and I think people were having some issues printing the tiled plans. Some of the pages weren't coming out right, or some stuff was missing. But I was already at the point where, I was like a lot of people that are waiting for new Flight Test designs to come out, constantly looking at the FTP site, waiting for the plans to come out. And then as soon as they would get posted on the Stonecap FTP site, I would get the plans and start my process of redrawing them and making my own tiled set and posting those up there. And I had released the plans, I think, in less than 24 hours since when the Flight Test plans for the Bushwhacker came out. I had my new retiled plans out for everybody, and it just kind of snowballed from there. I think Alex emailed me that same day that I posted my plans and asked them if they could use those as the official plans for the Bushwhacker instead of them going back and redoing their plans. And I guess it kind of all started from that.
Oh, cool.
Cool.
So were you into RC flying things prior to Keegan, like finding flight test?
RC flying things? No.
Full
I've
scale
always
flying things?
I was in the Air Force, and I've always liked planes, but I'm not a full-scale pilot at all. Keegan's actually kind of working on that right now, but
Right.
I've always been into airplanes. I've always liked airplanes, but I flew line control planes with my dad and my brothers when I was a kid back in the mid-'80s, and we built some balsa control line planes, and then just kind of got out of the hobby for,
Okay.
a long time. So, no, Keegan actually is the one. I think I bought him, my wife and I bought him a UMX Spitfire and a Spectrum DX5E for a Christmas present a few years ago, and that kind of was where he got started, and then he kind of showed me flight test, and then I realized maybe it wouldn't be so expensive or costly for me to start crashing planes and try and figure out how to do that myself. So that's
very
kind of
cool.
Nice.
That's
Yeah.
fantastic. So I didn't realize
So-
it was Keegan that got you into it.
well, I've been looking at radio control planes and stuff for a long, long time. Just never figured, it just always seemed like it was going to be way too expensive. Keegan's the one that actually showed me flight test. Yeah, I'm not much of a YouTube surfer too much, so yeah. Keegan spends a little more time surfing the YouTube stuff, and he's the one that actually showed me the first flight test episode that I watched.
I've got a great YouTube link for you, Dan.
Yeah, I can't wait. Is it guy on a buffalo?
No. It's more ridiculous than that, my father. Guy
Is it what
on
you-
the buffalo.
And we went there again.
Break your gun
Is-
on the stump.
Would you cut the singing out? No one wants to hear that. I promise
Yes,
you,
they
Pat.
do. You don't know that. You don't
Okay.
know that.
First of all, last night, Dan and Keegan, this guy decides to send me a link to goodness knows what half-an-hour-long video that I don't even know what the heck it was.
It was very
While I'm
special.
in the process of trying to figure out what's going on with the podcast stuff. So yeah, he was trying to distract me then, and
Joe
he
was
still
all like,
continues.
I'm busy. I got things to do. I can't watch this right now.
Some of us have jobs to do while we're doing
Here's-
the podcast.
Here's the other problem you got with that, Pat, is that he's a little younger, so he wouldn't even get it.
I know. He wasn't even alive back then, was he?
No.
No, he was not.
1990, baby.
Oh, my gosh. Dan. Okay,
Yes, sir.
so Dan. Keegan, you might like this. You might not. I don't know. But Dan, there's this thing called Kung Fury. Just YouTube search.
Oh God,
Kung
I know
Fury.
what that is.
Oh, it's fantastic.
Keegan, good man.
Yeah.
So I'm clueless.
After guy on a
There are-
buffalo, I'm anything that Pat suggests is kind of taken with a grain of salt.
Guy on a buffalo is brilliant. It is brilliant. Brilliant.
Like
Off topic.
Moving
we go
on.
again. So now we've got a design from Dan, which is one of the community builds, which is the Bloody Baron. So you've not only when the Bushwhacker came out, they basically gave you the all clear to start producing the plans. So if I remember correctly, that was after your original design, right?
Right, yeah, I think the Bloody Baron might have been 1 or 2 releases before the Bushwhacker. So, yeah, and, when I sent them, they used my plans that I drew for the Bloody Baron as well. And those were using, kind of the new format at the time, too, although that format's kind of progressed a little bit more since then. And Josh did comment he really liked the way that I laid my plans out and stuff like that, but it was after the Bushwhacker came out that I really started doing that in an official capacity.
Mm-hmm. So the question then is, what program are you using to do your plans that differs maybe from some of us who are I consider myself fairly adept to using Google SketchUp for my plans. Hey, Patrick. Wasn't asking for your opinion, okay? I just said that I am fairly well enabled to utilize SketchUp to develop plans. So what exactly are you using, and what is your process of putting, say, the laser files that Flight Test puts out, because of course they're designing everything for their laser cutter, and being able to basically translate those so that the rest of the human beings who want to scratch build can print those plans easily as tiles. And that's actually a question from Julian as well. Julian Waters is on.
Yeah, so I guess how to start off answering that question. I use AutoCAD for all the 2D stuff that I'm working on. And that's basically just because that's what I'm used to working with. I've been a mechanical designer for over 20 years, and I've been using Autodesk products for most of that time. So I use AutoCAD and for the 2D stuff, and I also use Autodesk Inventor, which is a 3D solid modeling program. I don't do a lot with the planes with Inventor yet. I've done like the Baron and the Mark III. I actually created models for those and then exported some of that geometry to create the 2D plan files for those. But for the most part, for all the flight test stuff, I'm just basically using AutoCAD for that.
Awesome.
And then, so for the second part of that question, how much work is it to go from the flight test laser files to the tile plans? After I've gotten this format that I've developed, it's taken a long time to really kind of come up with the format for the tiles, but once I've gotten that template kind of set up, it roughly takes probably 8 to 10 hours of kind of redrawing the flight test plans from the laser files, cleaning those up, because they don't come in as cleanly as I'd like them to come in, but I have to work with what I get.
And by clean, you mean the geometry doesn't line up, or?
Yeah, well, like any curves or radiuses and stuff like that are in there, are actually a bunch of little line segments, and I basically go in and redraw those with actual arcs and using some of the tools in AutoCAD to kind of clean those up so that if I'm formatting the line types for like the reference lines and the cut lines that use the dashed lines and stuff like that, I really need those to be clean geometries and not 100 different individual real short line segments, because otherwise the line formatting wouldn't show up correctly when you went to print those out.
Do they come in as vector files, or are they raster, or what do you
They're vector. They're coming in as a DXF file basically,
Okay.
But it really depends on who's designing it. So Josh likes to use CorelDRAW, I believe is what he's using for his design program, which is raster, which is, and my take on this is, the more people that are out there designing stuff, great. Use whatever you're comfortable with, and crank out a design and use whatever program you want, whatever you're comfortable with, and whatever you can figure out. Especially if you can get a free program like Google SketchUp or something like that, use it. Just get out there and design something. But yeah, so Peter is now using AutoCAD, which I really like getting his files because they're really clean when they come in. So there's not a lot of additional cleanup that I need to do with Peter's files for the last couple that have come in from him since he started using AutoCAD. But yeah, the files that are coming in, because they're from Josh, because they're coming in as a raster format from a drawing program, there's quite a bit of cleanup. Like sometimes, like the lines, should normally be horizontal or vertical lines. They're coming in at slight angles and stuff like that. And I really try to go in and clean that stuff up as much as I possibly can to give the community the best plans that I can possibly give them.
Yeah, absolutely. And are you getting a lot of good feedback from the community? And one of the biggest pieces of feedback, and I'm sure you've probably seen this, is a lot of people aren't setting up the printer correctly for getting those files printed on the tiles. So is there maybe an article that's soon to be coming out from you guys as to the best way to print these things, or what do you suggest for someone who's looking to print the tiled files?
Yeah, I can talk to that. I mean, that's been on my to-do list, is to write an article on like just basically how to print the tile plans, because I do get a lot of questions about that. The best advice I can give you is use Adobe Reader and don't use your web browser. Printing from the web browser, if you just click on the PDF link and it opens up in the web browser, that's the worst thing you can do to start off with. But you want to make sure that you're printing, you're not trying to fit the sheet to your sheet size so that it's printing at 100% every time. And that is, thanks for the reminder, Joel. I really got to get off my butt and get that article written and get that posted on the Flight Test website, because I do get that question probably 3 or 4 times a week.
So you mean by browser, if you click on the PDF, it automatically brings up this PDF thing, as opposed to opening it in Adobe something or other?
Correct. Yeah, I would highly recommend downloading the PDF file to your computer and opening it in Adobe Reader or some other. I always use Adobe Reader because the files are generated from Adobe Acrobat. So if you're using the native program to print it, it's probably going to give you the best results. That's what I use all the time. But there are other free PDF readers that you can use that will probably do just as good of a job. When I do write the article, it's going to be based around printing from Adobe Reader, which is free, so anybody can go out there and download the reader and print off the plans and hopefully get good results. The other part of that coin, too, is that all printers are different, so it's never going to be exactly the same for every user, but I'm going to try and make it as easy for everybody as I possibly can, which is the goal of these plans from the very beginning, is just try to make something that works for everybody. Which is one of the reasons that the tiles are formatted for the size that they are, so they fit on U.S. letter and I believe it's A4 paper size for the rest of the world out there.
Yes.
Yeah, that's probably one of the biggest questions that I've heard or complaints, I guess, is that everybody has trouble when they go to tile. Everybody tends to have a little trouble with it. And I'm glad you explained it because that's really helpful.
Yeah, without a doubt. We have a question from RC Plain Decals. I use Foxit Reader for PDFs. What do you guys think?
Great question. I've never used it, so I don't really have much of an opinion on it. Biggest thing is, as long as you can print to 100% scale or 100% size where it's not fitting or trying to resize or rescale anything when you're printing, it should be fine. Again, I like to just stick with the Adobe Reader product.
Definitely. Another question that came in from Alex Houston: can I run a 2200 battery in the Bloody Wonder and or Bloody Baron? I can definitely answer that too. Pat, what do you run?
Yeah, I have run a 2200 in the Bloody Wonder, a 2200 3-cell into Bloody Wonder. It's heavy for that plane, but it will haul it. If you put a 4-cell 1000. Hello. Words are so.
That sounds like a really sexy battery.
Another show title potential there.
1000.
1000. So yeah, if you put a 4-cell, if you put a small 4-cell in there, be prepared for the power pod to rip out of the foam of the fuselage. I've done that twice. It's
Keegan's
awesome.
done that.
It's awesome.
It's called the power pod missile. It's a very effective weapon when utilized in the correct manner.
Yeah, it's to get the accuracy down of that. It's really tough, but I think somebody someday will be killing the enemy with these 4-cell power pods from Bloody Wonder.
That's hilarious.
For sure.
Mike, what do you fly on yours?
Usually a 1300 or so, 3-cell.
Okay.
Yeah. Usually.
Here's one of my two. I actually, for the longest time, was running 2200s on mine. This is the Zippy Compact pack that I run on my Bloody Wonder. Except mine is decommissioned. I do not currently have a Bloody Wonder in my fleet. But yes, I do.
For shame.
Hey, wait a minute. You know why I don't have a Bloody Wonder?
Sure.
It's because I'm building a Bloody Ripper. So there.
So there.
Yeah.
Nicely put.
Yeah. There you go.
Those are good.
Secondary follow-up, same for the Bloody Baron, I would assume so. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, no, same size plane, basically same basic design, and I typically try to run a 1300, either a 3-cell or a 4-cell when I want to get crazy with it. I like to try and keep the battery inside the power pod, and I have stuffed a 2200 in there with a 30 amp ESC. There's no room for anything else, but it does fly. But like Pat says, it's a much different flying plane. It's a lot heavier, but it will fly.
Excellent. So what new designs can we expect from you guys coming down the pike here?
Well, we were like maybe planning on keeping that kind of under wraps until Flight Fest, but I'll leave that up to Keegan since it was kind of his idea if he wants to talk about that now or not.
If you want to drop a name, we can go ahead and do it.
Go ahead.
Maybe one.
Okay, so the first RC plane that was ever in our fleet was a long, long time ago. It's the first plane that Spon's, RC plane that Spon's ever flew. It's an Air Hogs Intruder, which is probably way back 2002, 2003. It's a pretty neat looking airplane, but when they made it at the time, it was all like cheap styrofoam, 2-channel, just differential thrust and more thrust to take off and climb. So it didn't ever fly that well. It looked really good. So the idea for this year is to blow it up to a swappable size, which is looking about 55 to 60 inch wingspan.
Okay.
And then use that as a combat plane or just PV or plane. So kind of a jack of all trades, twin engine, kind of 60 inch wingspan swappable.
Nice.
And I'd just like to interject and say that although Keegan said that was my first RC plane that I ever flew, I would not consider that an RC plane at all. If you look up any of the stats on that thing, it was horrible. It was a piece of crap, but it looked pretty cool.
Is this like based on the E6A Intruder or what is it?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I would doubt it. The nose shape vaguely resembles it, but none of the rest of the plane looks even remotely close.
Do you still have that thing? The funny thing is, that thing died a long, long time ago, and I gave it to Keegan.
I'm gonna grab
Keegan's
it.
gonna go grab it. He, as a little kid, I mean, he was like 5, maybe 4 when we had this thing.
Young.
Why is Pat still singing?
gosh.
I do this.
So I gave it to him after this thing was completely dead,
Right, Mikey.
and he would throw it around in the backyard. And the funny thing is, like, it sat out in the backyard, like stuck in the fence for like 1 or 2 winters, and we still have it. And Keegan found it in the closet a few weeks ago, and then came up with the idea of making this thing into a bigger RC swappable twin engine.
Oh, it's got a cool wing design, doesn't it?
Yeah, well, the wings are actually kind of ripped off where the motor nacelles were. I don't know if Keegan all did to it, or if maybe some wild animals got to it when I was stuck outside or what. But
Yeah, show it up to the camera one more time, Keegan. Sorry.
Yeah, it's in a
Back it
very
up a
sad
little
state of disrepair,
Oh.
but
Wow.
Well,
That is a neat looking little plane, though.
way to promote your new design right there.
yeah, so the cat's out of the bag, I guess.
Exclusively.
Now we actually have to try and get it
Exclusively.
done before Flight Fest.
That's right. The community cast came up with an exclusive.
Yep, we officially have
It's
an
a
exclusive,
scoop.
guys, off
You
first.
heard it here first, folks.
That's right. We scooped regular flight test. How about that?
Hey,
Yeah, really.
so Keegan, what are you doing? Are you in your senior year this year?
junior.
Junior. What are your plans after graduation?
Hopefully University of North Dakota for a degree in commercial aviation.
Oh,
But Mom and Dad haven't decided on that yet because money, right?
Oh,
Well, wasn't Kansas State cheaper?
It could be, depending on what kind of scholarships they have. The way it looks right now, if we have to pay full tuition, I think North Dakota is actually looking the cheapest.
oh, really?
Now, you guys are based out of Wisconsin, if I'm not mistaken,
Fond du
right?
Lac.
See.
I don't think anybody
Yeah.
says it like that, though.
Like what?
Wisconsin?
Wisconsin.
Wisconsin. Wisconsin.
Well, if you
Y'all
watch
say it,
SNL,
right?
it's Fond du Lac, Wisconsin.
Fond du Lac?
Fond du
Yes,
Lac.
yep.
Very good.
How do you say it?
Fond du Lac.
Fond du Lac?
Fond du Lac.
That's not
Isn't it
very
supposed to-
French sounding.
It's very
I
French.
was going to
Foot
say
of
it's
the
supposed
lake.
to be French.
So if you look at
Oh.
a map of Wisconsin, you see that big blue dot, which is Lake Winnebago. We are right at the bottom of the lake, and I think Fond du Lac is actually French for foot of the lake or bottom of the lake or something goofy like that.
Fond du Lac.
Yes, I believe that's exactly what that means. I have some questions here from
If
our
it
audience.
doesn't, it
We
does now.
have. Yes, exactly. I have a question from Julian Waters again. Keegan, was ERAU on your list?
Yes, it was, but money. Riddle's a very, very good school, but it's also the price reflects that. So it's probably right up there with North Dakota for being probably the top aviation school in the country, if not the world. But it's a lot more expensive given the location and their aircraft fleet.
And I'm assuming ERAU is Embry-Riddle University, which is based here in Daytona, if I'm not mistaken.
Correct.
Yep, there is a campus in Daytona and one somewhere in Arizona.
Yep. So they are really, really big schools. I know a lot of the University of Central Florida, which is where I went to school, and I was originally an aerospace engineering major. We had a direct connect program with Embry-Riddle, so there was potential for me to go that route, but hey, calculus. Yeah. So
That is
we'll skip
son of
over.
a bitch, isn't it?
We'll skip over that little piece of tidbit history, and we'll talk about we'll talk about that at the Campfire Flight Fest. So, moving swiftly on. Blake Ziegler, I think there will be a clipped wing version of the Intruder. So that's a threat by the sound of things. Prescott, Arizona is the other campus, Julian says. And do you consider your chances of winning combat with the swappable version favorable? So I think maybe he's asking, would you rather go direct connect with the electronics or swappable?
Oh, we'll have some surprises for combat.
Yes,
I like that answer.
Yes.
I like that. That sounds wicked. So let's kind of switch gears a little bit. We're gonna wait a little bit.
I think we're losing audio on our end here. Something's we're getting a lot of
I think
feedback
it's
from somebody.
Joel.
Yeah, Joel's starting to go
Joel's
into
doing
Darth Vader.
Darth Vader. Okay, hang on. I'm gonna write a few times. That's funny. As I was transitioning too.
Brian said, "Joel, your audio blows."
Well, luckily, I can edit this portion out for our recorded listeners. Live listeners, you're going to have to tolerate this for just a few more minutes while this goes up.
You could maybe turn your camera off and see if that helps.
Stand by, I'm going into mute and...
See if that helps. Does that help?
And back! Hey! How's that?
Still bad.
How about now?
Maybe a little better.
And how about now?
It's the same.
Tweaking the settings so that I can do this. Stand by.
on the
How's
plus
that?
side. You could pass for Ben. It's getting there.
There we go. How's that? Back
Better.
to... Hey, there we go. Just reset the feed. Okay, so back to where I was saying. So let's switch gears a little bit, and let's start talking about Flight Fest. Because if I'm not mistaken, the very last host from the Flight Test Community Podcast officially registered for Flight Fest this week.
Yes, I did.
Yes.
I
So
do.
And
now,
me both, Mike. I just registered a couple of days ago myself.
hey, there we
Tuesday or
go.
Wednesday, I can't remember what day. Yeah, so yeah, I'm going to be
Congratulations.
there, and absolutely. Well, I kind of wanted to make sure we were going to have a vehicle and do all the wonderful things we need to do there, but yeah, I did it. So I don't know if you want to call that a threat or whatever, but I'll be at Flight Fest.
I think that is a threat. I definitely think
think it
that's
may
a threat. So let's talk about, because it is coming up here quickly. One of my goals is to write a list of all the things that I'd like to bring with me and start to get things that I need/want out of Flight Fest. So what do you let's switch over to Dan and Keegan, because you guys have both attended 14 and 15, right?
Correct, yep.
Yep.
So, from your personal experience, what are your recommendations? What is someone like me who is a total event newbie? Because this is my first event that I'm actually going to be flying at. What are your recommendations of like things to bring, things to look out for, and also like because I'm sure you take part in the building as well. So what time management? I know that's a lot of like different questions, but fire away with opinions.
It's a mixed bag. I mean, the first year that I went, I didn't volunteer at all, and I kind of because I didn't know what to expect. And actually, the first year that we went to Flight Fest, that was our first RC event that we had ever gone to anywhere. So we had no idea what we were doing, and I didn't want to like volunteer and not know what I was doing. Really, didn't have any expectations, didn't know what to expect at all. So I didn't volunteer, and I kind of regretted it a little bit. So I kind of overcompensated for Flight Fest 15, and didn't even. I think I burned maybe 3 or 4 batteries the whole time I was there last year. So I would definitely say striking a balance. I'm going to volunteer, but it's going to be much less than I volunteered last year. The other recommendation I would have for you, I brought 3 or 4 half-finished planes, and I had full expectation of completely finishing these things and flying them at Flight Fest last year. Don't bring anything that you're planning on building at Flight Fest.
No,
it's not going to happen.
No.
I had my ugly stick, and I think you guys have seen pictures of that, the orange foam board ugly stick that I built.
Yes.
And I had that there, and it was only half done, and I maybe worked on it for an hour. It wasn't even close to being finished. I don't think I finished it for a month or 2 after we got back from Flight Fest. So bring a few planes, don't bring your whole fleet, and bring stuff that's just ready to fly and, enjoy it and have fun.
Yeah,
Joel, I want to interrupt really quickly because Kevin Teschner asked if any of the ugly sticks are going to be there.
If mine's still in one piece, and it should be, well, based on how much I've gotten to fly it lately, it'll probably be fine because it hasn't seen any flight time since last summer. Okay. But I'm planning on bringing mine for sure. I love that plane. It flies great.
All right, Kevin, there you go, buddy. Sorry, Pat.
Well, what was Kevin's question? Because I didn't hear it.
Oh, he was asking if there were going to be any ugly sticks there, or some of the foam ugly sticks. Okay. Because he's bringing. I know he's going to bring his. So.
Okay. I think he crashed his last year after Flight Fest, but hopefully we'll build in another one to bring. Because Keegan and I were both planning on bringing ours. Keegan built his and smashed his to bits, I think, before Flight Fest, and I never finished mine.
That was an embarrassing crash.
Yes.
One thing you never want to do with that airplane is stick a huge motor on a 3548 to a massively overpowerful motor for how big it was. And I depapered the inside of the wing because I wanted the smooth airfoil and make it look a little bit more like a balsa built-up plane. Mm-hmm. Was to increase the size of the spar. And this had been on one of the test flights for a smoke system that I'm sort of on and off developing that's going to use baby powder as kind of smoke mixture. That was a very early prototype that might have an article sometime in the next couple months.
Nice.
But I had been doing a full throttle pass right down the runway and decided I want to see what happens if I pull up with full elevator right at the end. And it went up for about 20 feet. The wings made a big V, and it completed the loop and hit the ground on the other side of the runway.
Nice.
There you go.
And
that's unbelievable.
Best that ever destroyed.
That's the best thing ever, isn't it?
Yeah, and that
really
was
funny.
That was the one that I spent a nice long time painting, masking off. It looked ugly by the time I was done with it, and it flew twice.
Question: do you have pictures of the before and after on that plane?
I think we have a couple somewhere.
Pull the show notes, por favor.
I will write that down.
Thank you. Patrick, you had a question for me before you started cluttering around and having a squirrel moment.
I literally do not remember what it is now, so I'm not sure.
Well, just before we jump off the flight stick or the ugly stick thing quick, I just want to throw a shout out there to the plans for that flight stick that we're talking about are the Hot Wax from the forums is the guy that designed that. It's called the FB Flight Stick, FLITE stick. Check it out. Really good plans. Great flying plane.
Stick. Okay. I will link that in the show notes because I'm sure after listening to this, many people will be wanting to hear it. So yeah, we'll definitely.
The stick is a classic design, and it screams for a Dollar Tree foam board build.
Yeah,
it's wonderful.
It's a great flying plane. Especially if you go crazy with the 35, 48, 900 kV motors that we put on there. Really pulls it around nicely.
What are you running? A 4-cell on that or a 3-cell?
4.
That's what I thought.
4-cell.
Yeah, you have to run a 4-cell on it.
What's the span on it?
55.
Nice.
Yowza. Okay,
that'll get up and go.
I'll send you a picture of mine too. I think I've posted that one a few times, but I'll send you a picture of it.
That'll make the big clap.
If I do ever build another one of those, the one thing I want to add to it is if anybody knows from the very, very early days that I was on the forum, I built a plane called the Drake 2, which is a Ken Willard design. It's a pretty classic seaplane pylon kind of thing.
Yep.
Cool, but kind of from just watching a bunch of videos of float planes, and I kind of caught a bug to start flying off the water. And after some more digging, the stick was actually a really, really good float trainer from a good set for him. So I'd like to eventually try and design a full float set that'll just bolt onto the bottom of the stick.
Nice.
That's very nice. Question, Mikey, do you have like an ugly stick in your fleet of any kind or any classic like stick?
Well, actually Ryan Papp gave me one last year at Flight Fest. It was all just a kit itself. I think the fuse was built, and as you guys are, as everyone in the community is well aware, I ain't much of a builder.
We've tried.
Well, I don't think you guys are done either.
No, not even. I told you, Flight Fest, I have a glue gun with your name on it.
Well, I've got plenty of glue guns. That's not the problem.
No,
you're going to be glued to a table. That's what's going to happen.
Yeah, there you
exactly
go.
What's gonna happen.
He is a feisty SOB.
Well, I do. Yeah, I do want to say, Ryan, I know you're watching and listening, and I'm actually going to gift that on to Eddie Black because he wants to build one.
That's awesome.
So I'm going to re-gift that on to Eddie.
That's
so
excellent.
Eddie's
I don't want that plane to go to waste or just sit in my,
dude.
Basement forever. So
Yeah, no,
That's where it's
that's
going.
really excellent. Yay! It has found its second home. We are happy with that.
maybe
That
third.
might be the third.
Yeah. I am not lazy. I can't build.
And for those of you who aren't live listening, that was Ryan Papp just putting in a Q&A question saying that Mike is being lazy.
Mike just hasn't realized he's a builder yet.
Yeah,
I
that's what it
agree.
is.
There's hidden talent there. Look, if you've got the skills to break a rib by leaning over a printer,
That's
if you've
right.
got the skill
Tell everybody.
to put a glue gun in your hand.
Wait.
What's the worst that could happen? Come on.
Move this. You as an old man, and your little workshop, and you build airplanes in it. And Mike, with your osteoporosis, I think it's time.
All you need is a dining room table and living proof that that's okay.
Oh man.
It's spoken like a newly married man with no kids.
Yeah. Exactly.
Living the dream, my friends. Living the dream.
Wow.
Dying. Hang on.
We need to move on
Mic
from
check.
there.
Mic check.
Hello?
Sorry, guys. Had to mute my microphone.
Hello?
I'm glad I have some water here.
I was going to say, I'm really getting old because I can't hear anything anymore.
That's so good. So, live listeners, do we have any other questions that they would like to ask our fantastic guests before we hit them with a couple more before we end for the evening? Because I can't believe it. We're going on an hour and 17 minutes for this show.
Already?
I cannot believe it. Right? Already. It doesn't feel like it because they're such great people.
Oh,
Time
yeah.
a lot.
Do you see how modest they are about this?
I thought that was, I don't know, self-deprecating doubt or something right there.
That
There's
could
something
be.
going on. But no, as I said, Dan, I know you and I have chatted quite a bit interpersonally about your plans and the development of the FT planes, and I had some questions for you about the Arrow, and you were gracious enough to answer those for me, and I really, really appreciate it. And you're a great guy. You've got a heart of gold, and you're out there helping the community every day. So from my side, I'd like to say a big thank you for everything that you do for the flight test community, and keep on rocking, because you really are trucking along with all of these FT planes that are coming out.
I really appreciate that. I really do. But for me, the biggest thing is flight test. Gave me so much getting into this hobby, and being able to spend time with my son, building planes, flying combat, and then actually getting my dad flying a little bit, and my brother and my nephew. They've just opened up so many doors for me getting into the hobby and getting to spend time with my family and doing it together, doing something that we all enjoy. So, for me, it was all just about trying to pay some of that forward. So I really appreciate the kind words. I'm just trying to give a little bit back to what I've all gotten out of this hobby so far. So.
Well, you are giving a tremendous amount back,
A tremendous
and what
amount.
you're doing is I certainly appreciate it, and I know I personally benefit from it, so thank you so much.
Absolutely.
Well,
Yeah,
I really
absolutely.
appreciate that. I'm glad people are enjoying getting some of the new plans.
It is. I have to say, it just is something as simple as the fact that you have lines on the side of the page that you're on, because there are some FT models, like the F-22, for example, that have these huge wings, right? The full-size F-22 has these huge wings, and there is like 1 or 2 pages with literally, I kid you not, nothing. And trying what plane was it? I think it was like my 3rd FT plane was the F-22, and I don't know what's going on upstairs. I apologize.
It's a
She's
puppy
upstairs.
and Allison.
No, it's not the puppy. It's the cat. The puppy is
It's squirrels.
Yeah, it's a squirrel.
Hang on, guys. I will be right back.
It's an emergency.
Okay.
Here's the point. The wife always trumps anything in your life. Keegan,
That's right.
remember that. You may think you're the man, but you are not.
No,
See, I'm going to have to sit here in silence right now. I can't comment.
at all.
Because of fear. Because you're smart.
And here's the other thing I will say, Dan, is not only are you giving back to the community, but you're also setting a wonderful example to all the other dads and all the families out there for spending time with your son. And for you, Keegan, it's really cool to hang out with your dad and show other kids that are teenagers and stuff like that it is cool to hang out with your dad and go out and have a good time and do all that.
I don't know if Keegan sees it that way, but us old guys see it that way. So
Right.
I mean, I'm sure he does, man, or he wouldn't do it.
Right, very true.
Yeah. I mean, because you know how teenagers are. They're going to do what they want to do no matter what
Oh
we tell
God,
them.
I do.
So if he's not having fun, I don't see him doing it. And I think it's fantastic that, as a family, you guys are out doing that and sharing your passion for the hobby. And, again, even though I've only met you guys briefly in person, I mean, I feel like I know you guys, for the last 20 years, it seems like I've known you almost. So it's, well, except for Keegan, of course, because he hasn't been around 20 years.
Oh, we're getting close.
He's an old soul.
How old are you?
There you go.
I'm 17.
Okay. So you're the age of my youngest son. My oldest is 19.
All right.
So yeah. I
And
can
it's
relate,
cool,
Dan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I really appreciate all the kind words, guys.
No, you really are. To see you come into Flight Fest and build the Creekery was so impressive because you were the guy who was in charge of it, and except for some underpowered elevator service, that damn thing would have flown beautifully.
Yes, it would have.
Yeah, I was very proud, Dad, seeing that thing kind of take off for that ATV. That was pretty awesome.
Yep.
If at all possible, I'm going to try and cram the vertical stabilizer, which is currently still hanging up in my room, to Flight Fest this year. And any volunteers that help build it, 2015, I wanted them to try and sign it, because that's one thing that they didn't do. Well, I think they actually did sign the wing, but that's probably in the FT graveyard right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't do anything, but I'd be happy to sign it for you.
Well, you were there.
You just want to be famous.
I was there. I was trying to keep Josh Orchard from falling over, so.
Yeah. It'll probably.
I lost a little bit of the video, the audio, guys.
Yeah, something locked up there for a minute. Yeah. And we're back.
Yeah, so, hey, Robert Brightbill from Spring Grove, Pennsylvania, one of my club mates there. What's up, bro?
I was going to say, that's got to be a neighbor, right?
Absolutely. One of my club mates.
There you go.
Yep. Love my club. Awesome.
Yeah.
Brian Papp said food. I don't know if that's a question or he just is hungry.
I would assume
Food,
I would assume
colors.
is a favorite color. Questions are below it, which goes probably favorite food.
I think he's just saying he wants food. Somebody get Ryan some
Maybe
food.
he's hungry.
Yeah.
So, what do you think, you guys? What do you guys think Joel's up to right now?
I have no idea.
No, come on, let's speculate.
Like our time to insult him,
Alice,
we'll never know.
Sure.
How long has he been married?
Pat, PG-13.
What are you saying, Dan?
I'm not saying anything. I'm saying
it was a question, and all of a sudden you're saying PG-13.
What are you implying, Pat?
Hey, Pat,
Well, obviously
how
you
your
know.
mic works.
All right. So somebody get a timestamp so Joel can edit that all out.
Oh no.
Oh, no.
Oh no.
Oh, he'll edit it out. Trust me, he will.
Oh,
So what are you guys' plans for Flight Fest this year? Pat, what are you bringing? That should be a new segment to the show. What are you bringing?
As little as possible.
But pants, right? You're bringing pants?
Pants are important.
I like shorts.
I'm back.
That was great.
Hey,
We didn't talk about you at all, Joel.
Lies. I've got the recording, so I can listen back.
Was that a good 30 seconds between you and Allison?
Huh? Considering the cat just attacked her, literally just attacked her for no reason.
What did I do?
I said cat, not Pat. Cat. C-A-T.
Cat.
C-A-T.
Pat just attacked her? What?
well, I think
It's
that's what
all-
Alice is afraid of.
Yes, literally.
Right.
It's all about Patrick at the end of the day anyway, so.
Right.
She won't talk
Unbelievable.
to me.
Okay,
Not
what
sure.
were we talking about?
I'm sorry. Jumping back in the middle of a conversation here.
We were talking about things we were going to bring to Flight Fest 2016.
Oh, yeah, and Pat had a really boring answer. It was a little...
Oh,
It's possible.
so we are on to who's next after Patrick?
Joel.
Doesn't even matter.
Me? Oh, I'm up. Okay. Okay. Well, first of all, I have a list of things that I need to do, like unpack my tent and do a ton of other things, get camping gear in order, because I honestly haven't camped in a very long time. So I need to get those pieces in order. Once I do that, I think my hangar right now, as it is, I'm probably going to bring the DLG Mini for sure is coming. I am likely going to bring the Mini Mustang, the Mini Corsair that I'm going to start, possibly the FT Tiny Trainer, or the Champ. I haven't decided which of the two. I like the Champ, but the problem is if the wind is anything like it was at last year's Flight Fest, that thing is never going to get in the air. And the Tiny Trainer at least gives me the opportunity to teach people to fly on a slightly bigger platform.
Wasn't there a Champ flying around pretty well in the wind at Flight Fest last year? If I remember
One-
correctly, it
one
won
combat.
Kind of won combat, yeah.
Yeah,
but
did.
that was only after battery changes. So
Yeah, but there wasn't any wind to speak of. I mean, we were there. It wasn't too bad. I mean, there were times, but it wasn't all that windy.
So that may be the case. If it is expected to be not that windy, then I will absolutely bring the Champ, and I won't bring the Tiny Trainer. The Tiny Trainer I'm building is actually going to be for Tim, because Tim and I are going to be flying. He's singing again.
Oh my god.
Oh no!
Oh boy!
When you edit this, take all the parts for Pat's singing and then just put them in separate podcast.
I'm actually probably going to group them together at the end and make it like, you know how there's like those secret ending bits if you listen all the way through
bad
to the end?
karaoke.
Yep.
It's going to be bad karaoke featuring Pat. That's totally happening. I can do
very,
that.
very
Black
bad at
Cat sings
karaoke.
bad karaoke.
I'm so doing that. Thank you for the suggestion. Yes, duly noted. That will happen.
Show title.
Okay,
So yeah,
let's hit some of these questions a little bit too that everybody else.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. So that loosely is my current fleet. There are more items that I'm going to be trying to finish before, like the Stinson Reliant and the Bloody Ripper. But let's go. I agree with Mikey wholeheartedly. Mike, do you want to rip through some of these questions for the guys?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I think we've answered Ryan with his favorite foods. And,
Sushi.
Mine.
I like anything fried.
Um,
And then
Moroccan.
favorite colors.
Purple.
And I believe Dan was blue. Keegan?
Blue. Go with blue.
Blue. Yeah. Mine's black. Joel?
I have a favorite color scheme: red, black, white.
There you go. And we'll
Representing.
skip the other word for cat. I'm not going there.
Yeah.
Feline.
And Louise said more flying, less volunteer work, spending time with my son and good friends. And I agree.
Amen,
second
brother.
it. I
Amen.
second that. That sounds beautiful.
Yeah, and of course we already said Robert said hi from Spring Grove. Julian said that he's harassed us enough.
Not enough.
Never enough.
You're never harassed enough.
Never.
And then Asbjorn said, guys, you must start planning how many of your planes I get to wreck. And any of them that I have, Asbjorn, you can crash them if you want. So
Yeah, you Viking freak. If you get over here, you can crash every single one of mine, brother. 'Cause it's not going to be the same if you don't come.
Second.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you have to be out there with this.
Yeah. And then I guess Julian was complaining that Champ stole his trophy.
Yeah, they need to make a rule: no battery changes for combat this year.
You should have hit it, Julian. If you could have just hit it, it would have been yours.
There you go.
I think that thing would disintegrate even if you got it in the prop wash.
Pretty much.
Probably.
Yeah. That's why, like, I like the idea of bringing the Champ because it's a great place or a great plane for people to learn on. But I don't want to take that thing into combat. It's bad enough that I tried night flying with it the other day, and it was under street lamps, so I thought I had enough room to fly just outside my house, and I flew it into the side of the townhouse that's across from us, and I still haven't been able to find the nose cone, so so I need to find a new...
It's the easiest flying airplane in the universe.
But at least you didn't hit anything big like a house with it.
Right.
I'll be right back.
No, I flew it into the side of the house because, again, I was trying to night fly with it.
Without
any
lights?
Without any lights. Only the light from the receiver.
Let's play a game called Good Idea, Bad Idea.
Right.
It was definitely one of those moments, Keegan.
There's one red LED. You can see it, but you don't know which way it's going.
The thing is that I had
it flying into the townhouse across the street.
Yeah, because I took it off. I thought I had plenty of room to turn. I turned it, and I couldn't whip it around near fast enough. It just went clunk. Nose burst into the side of the house.
Did anybody
come
to the house and be like, "What's happening?"
No,
Drone
because
strike.
of course it weighs nothing. So it just went ding, and it just went and it was fine. There's nothing wrong with it. It's gonna fly again.
What was that sound it made?
It went
I like it.
For my life.
Mix that in with Pat singing. That would be great.
Maybe that's why it crashed.
Yeah.
Oh, that's Mike, if you say that too, I will do that. The three of us going
That needs to be our theme song. Do it again, Mike. Sorry.
Again?
Community cast.
There you go.
So gonna do it.
That's the sound of our listenership disappearing.
Yeah. Going right down the tubes, man.
Oh, that's great. Wait a second. Tommy! Look who's joined us.
Oh, hey, good morning, Tommy.
Hey there.
All the way from Afghanistan.
Yes,
we
sir.
have a listener live. Who are all these tacky people?
Yeah, we're still trying
Hi,
to figure
Tommy.
that out ourselves, Tommy.
Welcome to the Flight Test Community Community Podcast. Where nothing.
What?
Well, I was talking about crashing.
Does Joel have some history?
Roll with it. Just roll with it. Okay, I'm tired, guys.
I think he talks to Mike too much over at the Crashcast. I don't know.
Yeah, it's true. I listen to that show religiously, and I'm going to completely divert the topic here for a second. But did you guys hear what they're doing at Seth?
No.
A 24-foot monster aircraft, like 65 pounds plus.
Nice.
They need a special exemption from the AMA just to get this thing flying.
Wow.
And the cool thing is they are building this at Seth. They have not pre-built any of these components. They are doing all of it.
Materials? What are they building it out of?
Balsa. It is going to be a balsa build-up. Lane Stair over at the Crashcast has put the plans together with their flight engineer Joel, and they are taking all of the pre-cut components to Seth with them next week, and they are trying for what they think, we don't know because of course it's never been attempted before, they're trying to break built in the shortest time frame at Seth.
I'm going to lay this out here right now. If we can build something larger or equivalent at Flight Fest that will carry me, I'll fly it. I'm just saying.
When I was talking to Peter after we flew the Cree last year, he was like, "Oh yeah, we should go for the record next year. I think 50 feet sounds good."
Well, I tell you what, if anybody, of anybody, I think Peter would be the one to do that because he's really wanting to do that anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's
Right.
been.
You can just,
itching
it's
for
the
that.
look in his eyes. He's like, oh, I gotta do it.
Yeah.
Gotta see the heat.
Yeah, I've seen that look.
Let's talk to him because we can.
Yeah, I agree. Question comes in from Lewis Russi. Hey, Lewis, how you doing, buddy?
Luis, what's up, bro?
Are you guys
Luis, what's up,
bringing,
brother?
are you guys bringing any night flyers to Flight Fest?
I will have my glider. What is it called? Why can't I remember? Pat, help me! I'm telling you, I'm getting old.
What? It's
we lost
Radiant.
The Radian.
There you go.
Oh my God! How can you forget the
It's only
name of
like
that?
Went away.
Talk about
This show.
history.
This show is going na 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 na.
That's a Dutch roll, right?
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
Okay, it's time for
I
the
haven't-
man to go to bed.
I have an FT
Pat-
Explorer with some lights in it, but I'm planning on probably picking up a bunch of LED light strip stuff from Hobby King and trying to build a couple other things because that's one thing I definitely want to do at Flight Fest this year. I didn't have a night flyer last year, so I definitely want to bring one this year.
Keegan?
I do want to build a bushwhacker where I cut out the side panels in the fuselage and kind of make it look like the doors taken off of a Alaska stall kind of plane. And one of the things that I wanted to go along with that is like a full nav light, beacon light set to go with it. So hopefully that could night fly.
And finally, Patrick, before I chime in.
I'm going to bring a champ with one red LED
And see if you can hit a house.
and see if I can hit a house.
I have faith that you can do it.
I hate you so much.
Most people do.
So what are you really bringing?
I have a Sky Surfer / Airwing Surfer / Bixler set up with LEDs on it. I'll probably bring that this year. I don't know. It's pretty beat up. I might build something nicer. I kind of like to. Well, I really want to build a combat plane that is. Well, I got ideas, and I'm not going to say it because they're good. So, but so let's just say that I have thoughts, and if I bring a night flyer, it'll probably be also a combat plane, and nobody's going to beat me. That's all I'm saying.
All right.
Okay.
Night combat. I'm just going to lay that out there right now.
That sounds like fun, but I don't want to combat with what I'm bringing. I am very deeply looking into Twisted Hobbies because I love their stuff. Specifically, their 22-inch crack pits because that thing is wicked. And I think that I may very well do that with a reversing ESC and a nice motor and servo set. I would love to go all digital. And I am going to outfit that sucker with as many LEDs as will fit on it.
You're range plotters getting to the.
You're going to fly at pits
It's in
backwards?
dick, it doesn't stop.
Yeah. So that's an idea that I'm having, but I don't know if it will actually work because that plane is just so freaking cool.
Joel, did you say pits? Pits.
I did.
With
Pits.
reversible ESC?
Yeah. I want to buy one with a reversible ESC.
How you going to fly backwards, bro?
You put the throttle into... so basically the throttle is set in middle stick.
Okay, no, I understand how it works, but aerodynamically, it's kind of not possible.
It'll fly backwards for about a half a second, and then it wants to spin back up to normal upright flying mode, and at that point you better switch the throttle back to forward flight, otherwise you're going to do a tail slide right into the ground.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Well, I'm just thinking it would be fun to tinker around with.
It's
That's
cool
a
for
poss-
messing around with in vertical maneuvers, especially if you're going straight down and then you stop the airplane, back it up, and switch it back into vertical going upwards.
I saw that on Bugs Bunny once. Ran out of gas right before hitting the ground.
They actually do that with some of the profile lift, the 3D planes, and they call it
Right.
4D.
Oh,
Yep.
no. But, Joel, I'm totally messing with you right now.
Oh, no.
I understand what you're saying.
Oh, no,
it's
I just
pretty
think...
cool. It's pretty cool.
I think I want to tinker around with it before taking it to Flight Fest and before outfitting it, but that is something I would really like to dig into. So we'll see how that goes. Also, Ryan has a direct attack at Patrick. Rocks do fly.
Rocks follow a path of projectile motion, which is not flight.
And
Could you put it into orbit and technically call it flight?
No.
I would also call that orbit.
Just orbit.
Flight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's free
Space
fall.
flight.
It is free fall. Yeah, that's right. I'll probably outfit my Valkyrie with lights, says Alex Houston. Okay, so we know that there's going to be a night flying Valkyrie, so night combat does sound doable.
Good. Something I can slice in half then.
Should get a Valkyrie set together.
I think Mike was absolutely 100% right about him going to bed, because I believe he has joined. He has left us. He was very tired indeed.
He's
wait.
back.
He popped up.
Oh, there he is.
Oh, he's back. There he is. Maybe he lost internet.
Mike? Hello? Because I kind of want to go to bed now, too. I'm tired.
Yeah, I agree. Do we have any more questions for either of our two fantastic hosts? Oh, guest hosts, I should say. Say none? Mikey, are you there?
Mike!
I see him.
Mike F.
Hello.
Is anybody out
Now
there?
look what you did, Pat. You're
look at
bad
you.
input.
He's muted. Hang on, he's muted. Let me...
Hello?
Magic one. Stand by. Mikey?
There it is.
Hello?
Hello.
Hello?
Hello. All right, well, we'll have Patrick. We'll have you sign off first. Patrick, where can people find you?
Wait. Did we anger Mike in some way?
I don't believe so. I don't believe so. I think he's just, I think he's honestly having technical issues with
I think he might
the
have fallen
internet.
asleep, so... No. So am I signing off now?
Yeah. Where can
done?
people find you, buddy?
I don't want them to find me. I really
They don't want to find you.
Okay.
For both parties.
Clarification.
Yeah.
Clarification.
Nobody wants to... I'm on
Social
the book.
media.
I'm on the book. That's about it. If you want to talk to me, come talk to me at the Flight Test forums. I'm Earthside Teach. Other than that, I want to thank Dan and Keegan, who I'm really looking forward to seeing again at Flight Fest. And Keegan, I hope you build something that is really big and flies this time with proper sized servos. Because no, seriously, the thing you built last year, the Creakery, was beautiful. It was perfect. It was just a stupid victim of underpowered tail servos, and that's sad because everything was perfect and it would have flown beautifully, and it even might have set some record. I don't know. So I kind of want you to come back and do it again with bigger servos.
It's a project I'd like to try again. I don't think I'm going to try and squeeze it out in 4 days, because if anybody remembers the last night, I believe it was me, Fred, Provost, Flying Monkey, and Julian Waters in the hangar until about 5 in the morning, squeezing the last little bits of glue on that thing.
Yeah, I went to bed about 2 in the morning, and I didn't even help with it. So I was just standing there watching you guys.
Mikey, I think he's back.
I'm finally back.
I'm sorry, buddy. Were you
Back
having some
again.
technicals?
Mikey's back.
I was having some technical
Hello,
difficulties.
friend. Mikey's
See, I
back.
told you he didn't
Mikey's
get
back.
mad at us,
Mikey's
Patrick.
back. Mikey's back. Oh, no.
I can't wait to edit this, Mike. I really am so excited. Mike,
for
where can people find you, buddy?
Oh, people can find me on Facebook as Michael Finley. They can find me on the forums as The Magic One, and that's TheMajik and the number 1. And they can also find me at Gmail at themagicone@gmail.com. I'm on Google Hangouts as Mike Finley and The Magic One. I think they all go together. And my YouTube channel is also The Magic One.
Fantastic. What about you guys? Keegan, Dan, are you guys on the socials?
Oh, all over the place. Yeah. Spawn's on the FT forums. Dan.Sponholz@gmail.com. Facebook, Dan Sponholz, and Google Plus also just as Dan Sponholz. I believe my YouTube channel is Dan Sponholz as well.
And I'm on the flight test forums as Akimbo Glue Guns. I am on Gmail as Keegan.Sponholz@gmail.com and Facebook as Keegan Sponholz. Fair warning, if you try and email me and or Facebook me, I only check those, email is checked probably once a week, and Facebook very, very sporadically.
As a person of your age, we have no blame for you that at all. That is fantastic. Excellent. Well,
okay.
Any more?
So Mike and I are old. We're old, and Joel is
Thank
young.
you, Pat.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying, bro. We've had this conversation. And Joel's young. Joel's a young pup. But he's referring to Keegan as young, so that makes us pretty much dead.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay, first of all, you have to understand, Keegan is in high school, okay? I am married now and out of college, which therefore makes me an official adult. Okay?
He's got his
He's
big
in high
boy
school.
pants on.
Therefore,
We're all
he's a
very proud
kid.
of you.
Joel's wearing his big boy pants, which is more than we can say about Pat.
I got no pants.
Joel and Keegan can put their ages together, and they still are not as old as I am. So.
Hell no.
Probably me either.
Keegan, it sounds like you and I have some competition at Flight Fest.
Yeah, I'm thinking some team combat might sort this out a little bit.
I agree
Bring it.
wholeheartedly.
Oh, it's
on.
It's on. It's on.
Like Donkey Kong.
Hey,
And
how
with
do you know
that,
He had to say that, didn't he?
1990s, guys, come on.
It wasn't
So
that either.
No, you're right. To wrap it up, guys, you can find me at Joel Cannon on Facebook. I am on Twitter at jcannon614. That is also my flight test screen name, and you can find this podcast, the video and all. You can find that on the Flight Test website at flighttest.com/podcast. On the Flight Test Community Cast podcast, we are now there with all of our show notes. So you'll find the show notes to this show and all of our previous shows. You can now also find us at the Podbean, where we are now hosting all of our podcasts from this point forward at ftcommunitycast.podbean.com. And you can also reach out to us by email at ftcommunitypodcast@gmail.com. Guys, it has been a blast hanging out with you the last couple of hours. Thank you so much for all of your time. And we're going
Nice
to go ahead and sign off for the night. With Mikey ending the show on a high note.
That is fantastic.
That's going to show
From
up
all
in
of us
nightmares.
here. Yeah, really. From all of us here at the Flight Test Community Podcast, have a great night. We'll see you guys in a couple of weeks.
Thanks,